Okay, we might as well get started, and if anyone else joins, we can let them in. Um, just a reminder to everyone that this is being filmed for cable, so if anyone does not want their image to appear on screen, now is a good time to turn off your video. So today for Coffee and Conversation, we have our very own Laurel St. Pierre, our outreach worker. As we phase in and add more and more programs back to someone else coming in. As we phase in and add more programs back to the schedule and expand transportation, things have changed a little bit since a whole year ago. So we're going to turn it over to Laurel and Jim, and they can explain a little bit more about that. Thanks.
Thanks, Debbie. First of all, I think it's been about 14 months since we've actually been doing a lot of rides. We have been, Jim has been doing some medical rides for a while now. But as we looked at everything as we move forward, we decided that we haven't seen our seniors for 14 months and that it might not be a bad idea to reassess whether or not people are able to get on and off of the van for a couple of reasons: for their own safety and for the safety of the van drivers around all of this pandemic. Because supposedly we should not be, we should be still keeping our distance and there should be no hands-on. So we want to make sure that people can get on the van, get off the van, and be pretty much independent. So we do have a new fall, what we call a fall risk assessment. It would be done by me so that if you think in the future you're going to need a ride, either just to come to the center or errands or whatever we do, or a medical ride, you're going to call and ask for me so that we can do the assessment. It's a very short little survey, about 10 questions, and asking you mostly if you've had any falls, if you feel steady on your feet, if you have feeling in your feet, and a couple of other questions. Along with that, I want to make sure that who's ever riding on the van has the file of life. So we have those available. We have two different forms of file of life. One of them has a magnetic back and it fits on your refrigerator. And then the other one is a pocket size. It's the pocket size one that we want you to have on the van. It's going to have pertinent information in there: your name and address, your doctor, probably your medications, anything you're allergic to. So we ask that we have that information available should anything ever happen to you at any rate. So that takes care of that. As far as our medical rides go, all of the medical rides are booked through me. And I do communicate with the van drivers as far as, the availability. We do ask that, you try and call us with at least 2 weeks in advance, if possible. We will not honor somebody that calls for the same day or the next day. We ask that we have at least a couple of days notice. Right now, for the time being, we're doing the Monday and Thursday from 9 to 2 p.m. We go to Norwood, Walpole, Foxborough, and Dedham. So actually, I guess that's beneficial, as some places don't go to Foxborough. I think the ride does not go to Foxborough, but we do go to Foxborough if you had a doctor's appointment over there at the medical building. When you call for the appointment, you're gonna, the medical ride, you're gonna call and ask for me. I'll need your name and address and phone number, which is pretty easy to do, the time of your appointment and where you're going. Then I check with whatever usually it's Jim that's doing the medical rides. I check with him. He will, and he's on the call too, so he's going to give us some additional information. He will call you and let you know what time he's going to pick you up. And there's usually a 15-minute to a half-hour leadway one way or the other. We only do one ride per week. We're not, we don't do medical rides to PT, dialysis. We can only, because there are so many seniors, we only do one ride per person. So that's just something to keep in your mind. We do not do rides for people that are having any types of procedures, a colonoscopy, or even an extraction of a tooth, whatever. We need to be careful with those types of situation. most of the time when you're having something like a colonoscopy, the doctor would require that you be picked up by a family member or someone that's going to be with you for a period of time. So that's not in our, we're not allowed to do that. Some of the other things that stay pretty much the same, you know, we expect good behavior on the bus. Hygienes are an issue, respectful to each other, and so forth. I think at this point, Jim, do you have something that you want to add about the van?
Yep, I think if Carrie joins, she's going to have a little schematic that shows that we can only put people in, let's call it every other seat, to give at least a 3-foot distance between. So if you were not the only person on the bus, you would have appropriately, you actually have more than 3 feet between you and the next person. And with that, that means that my phone is dying here. I'm sorry. Can people hear me?
Yep, can hear you. Yep, you're good.
The 14 passenger bus, our newest bus, can hold 7. And likewise, Carol's 16 passenger bus can hold 8 people. So we haven't approached anywhere near that. But just so you know, you're not packed tightly, and if it should get very busy, we won't have every seat occupied. And Debbie has made nice smiley faces that we've taped to the seats to designate where you're going to sit. And that's receiving rave reviews so far. I would add that there's a medical building out in Norfolk, and we do go there. Laurel didn't mention the town of Norfolk, but
You're right.
we do go to the Pondville building over there on 115 in Norfolk. That's all I can think of at the moment. Now, Carrie has put up the little graphic that shows the way we're going to seat people on the van. And as to the subject of Laurel assessing everybody, that's sort of become quite necessary. Earlier this year, I had people who found that maybe the past year hadn't been so good to them physically, and they were having little difficulty climbing onto the first large step. The first step onto the van up the steps is high. And some were discovering that didn't quite work for them anymore. So that's the reason. We need to get you on your treadmills and everything to get you the ability to walk onto the bus on your own without being, frankly, pushed onto the vehicle. Go ahead, Laurel, grab it from there.
So I wanted, I just had a thought, Jim. So are people going to, when they're doing a round trip tour, would they perhaps be sitting in the same seat they went in when they went? In other words, are they going to be almost
Oh, yeah.
assigned a seat?
Yes, I would. If there were multiple people on the van, I would try to put the first person I pick up near the rear, so
Yep.
they would sit in that same seat when they return.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course, I'm wiping down the handles and the railings
Okay.
in between everybody, in between each person.
Okay.
But for ease of sanitation, let's say, yes, sit in the same seat that you arrived on when you return home.
I've got one more question too. This is good for me too. I remember a while ago, we were having the windows open in the van when you were transporting people. Is that still going to happen?
Yep, they're open as we speak out there. There's little sliding windows at the top of
Okay.
the cab. And two of them are cracked open and always are.
Okay.
And so there's always a fresh air exchange, and the heater works well to overcome any cold air that comes in. Of course, we're going to have the opposite problem now.
Yeah, I know.
But
Be hot.
the vans the air conditioners and the heaters can overcome any cold air or warm air coming in. So that's not a factor. But yes, air is being exchanged all the time in there.
Good. So at this point, I'd be looking to see if anybody had any questions in regards to the new fall assessment that we're going to be doing, the trips on the van, anything coming to mind that people might want to need an answer to?
Guess not.
No questions. Wow, we must have done a great job.
You did do a great job. I can't recall if you mentioned that we also are doing rides to and from the center, if there are programs for people to come to.
Right. I did mention that we are doing other programs as well. I think I mentioned that we'll be going to Walmart and eventually we'll be going back to Stop and Shop. And people are being transported into the center for some different activities here. But again, anybody that wants to, ride the van needs to do the fall assessment with me. Just call and I'll be more than happy to run it by. It takes about maybe tops 5 minutes, if that. Okay. And then if you don't have a file of life to have in your purse or pocket or whatever, I'm certainly happy to mail that to you so that you can fill that out and we can have it. It's recommended with the file of life, any file of life that you do it in pencil in case things change. Sometimes your medications change, your allergies change, your doctor, whatever. So rather than just getting a new whole packet and have to do it all over again, it's wise to do it in pencil and then you can make your changes.
I should also mention, I didn't, that for the ultimate last piece of safety, there's a piece of plastic hung up between me, the driver, or Carol, the driver, and the passenger cabin. So there's a little barrier to physical movement of air between the passengers and the driver. So it gives, I don't know, 1% more idea of normalcy, or unnormalcy really, but of safety to the whole interchange of bad stuff.
Yeah, protection for you and the client.
Protection for me and the client. Summed up very well. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
That's okay. No worry, no worry.
Hopefully soon those barriers will come down. But right now they're up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else have any questions for us?
We have any takers?
Want an assessment, give a call.
Right. Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you back here. We look forward to getting people on the move again and having you feel comfortable enough that you can do this. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to present this to you, to let you understand that, we're looking at safety all the way around, not only just in the realm of the pandemic, but anything else that we do. And this is a good time to do this now, just to make sure everybody's good to go. Good to go.
Thanks, Laurel. I think that's perfect. We want to be safe, but we want everyone to be successful too, and to feel successful taking the bus. I think this will definitely make an impact and help us to understand the needs that you guys have as you step forward into this new normal. Thanks, Laurel.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Jim. Jim was
You're
ahead of the
welcome.
game. We had that barrier up way before it was required.
Mhm. And the smiley faces were Jim's idea.
The little
No,
baseball
no,
hat.
Not really my idea.
Yeah. Teamwork. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.